Here, we'll start with questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. And Jacob, you can kick it off.
Hi, Laura. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us today. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Very busy, but all good.
All right. Just first, just your opening remarks towards the start of the season.
Yeah, excited. Seems like the league's kicked off with a bang. Yeah, just excited for 2024. Excited that the Queen's back. All the things.
I'd asked Bethany this when she was on earlier. Lots of excitement and anticipation as to what G can bring onto the field. So just curious as to how you feel, how you and the coaching staff feel she's getting settled into the team and what the program is.
Yeah, I think obviously she's a talented player. She's got a lot of experience at playing at the highest level. And I think, for anyone coming into this league, I always say it may take her a minute to get used to how crazy it is. We've had some international players where it's taken them a minute, some where they've kicked off with a bang, and hopefully tomorrow she can kick off with a bang.
All right. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Jacob. Stephen, go ahead.
Laura, thanks for talking with us. I have two questions from me. First is, it seems like more often than not, you guys are facing the Spirit in the opening game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, what is that?
Washington's obviously had a lot of change this offseason. They have a temporary new coach, a lot of new players. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about the challenges of kind of preparing for a game like this with an opponent that you really don't know a lot about.
Yeah, it's always the first game of the season is always challenging. I think for everybody, you try and do everything you can in pre-season to find out as much information as you can about them, and I'm sure they've done the same about us. And but you are going into a little bit of the unknown, and as coaches, we don't really love that. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think we've got a lot of different faces in the team. They've got a lot of young new faces in their team. Obviously, different coaching staff and stuff like that. So I think we're just gonna have to see what we've seen a little bit of them, but not a ton. Is what we've seen what they are, or is it a little bit different? And I think, first games of the season, I think as we're already seeing, can often be a little bit of that, of someone comes out very differently than you thought, or they got on the front foot really quickly and you have to respond. So, I think first game of the seasons always have that initial challenge, and this one's no different, even though, I don't even know how many times we've played Washington first, but it seems a lot.
Okay, and then kind of to follow up on that, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about kind of how the fitness of the team is going into this game. I know Alana had an injury that kept her out of national team duty, and some other players have been playing a lot of games with the national teams. Kind of how is everyone doing going into tomorrow?
Yeah, we're pretty close to health. Alana, touch and go. She's close. Tomorrow may be a bit too soon for her. We've got a couple of other niggles again. Nothing really long term, but we may have to make some choices tonight on whether we risk some people or not.
Okay, and then one kind of bigger picture question for the season. Last year you had the Challenge Cup kind of mixed into the season where you were able to give some of your depth players and younger players opportunities to get minutes. This year that's obviously not available. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about kind of how your vision of trying to get players minutes to develop is going to kind of play out this season. Obviously things can change with injuries and things, but
yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think we've got that period in the summer and during the Olympic break where we can find some opportunities, I think, for people. But I think we've got a really deep roster again where everybody, from 1 to 26, there's not a huge gap, so could somebody not be in the roster tomorrow of the 20 and start next week? Yeah, quite easily. So I think that we've got a lot of young talent. We've got a lot of young players who may take them a minute to get used to things. Got a few old legs in there that may need a couple of rests occasionally. So yeah, I think we'll just have to find the time to develop. And I think obviously one of the things that we do throughout the year, if needed, is we try and get games against boys teams and other opportunities when and where we can, if we feel that we need to get some players some minutes.
thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Jeff, go ahead.
Much of the narrative has been about change, but also when we look at your roster, you're returning the bulk of the core of your defense from the championship match, starters from all three lines, strikers who've scored many goals for your club. Is too much being made of the change given how much you do return and how much continuity there's been over the past couple seasons with that particular group?
I mean, I don't know if you can take away the change, to be honest. Megan Rapinoe's a pretty big thing to lose, you know. I think that is an area that she's been such a consistent force in this team for so long. I think obviously with the other changes that we've got, do I think that they'll be impactful? Yeah, but I think we actually did a good job of solving that pretty quickly. But, I don't want to diminish what Pino brought to this team. But I also think it's not fair to think that someone's just going to walk into her shoes either. So, yes, do we have the core back? Yes, I do think that. Do we have some really bright young talent? Yeah, we do. And I think that that's like quite a cool thing for us, that we have these veterans that, are the legacy of this club. But we've got some really young, talented players who are now going to be able to get an opportunity to really take this club where we believe it should be and where it can be. And I think one of the things that this club has been built on is consistency and performing at a consistent level every year. I don't think since year one we've finished lower than 5th. That might be a lie.
That's correct.
Oh, God, unbelievable stat by me. To finish in the top 5 in every season in this league with everything that this club's gone through, I'm not going to go into that, is testament to who we are. And I think, yes, change is necessary. Change is exciting. But I think we have core values here that don't change. And I think every new face that comes into it knows what's expected and what the expectation is of playing for this club. So I do think that I don't want to diminish what losing Pino means. I don't want to diminish who Rose and Sonnet are, but I also want people to understand that Megan Rapinoe not being here anymore is a big deal, and I'm not going to take that away from her. But I do think it's professional sport, and I think the good thing about us is we've known that obviously for a while that she wasn't coming back, and we've been working really diligently behind the scenes to make sure we can try and make that transition as seamless as possible.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jeff. And then Jacob, go ahead.
Just a follow-up question regarding some of the young players that the team has brought in. Obviously, Sam Meza and Emi Mardo, but also, the team signed their first through the U18 mechanism, and Emery Adamas. I was just curious if you can just talk a little bit about what she brings to the team, and I don't know if expectation is the right word to say, but what is it that you and the coaching staff are looking for her this season?
Yeah, Emery's a special talent. She is. She's a special talent. And I think I agree with you. I think our expectation isn't the right word for her because of her age. I think our job is to give her a development environment, and we've seen with these young players that have come into this league that can look really different for each one of them. All we know for Emery is that she deserves to be here. On her ability on the field, her maturity off the field as well, I think has lent into her seamlessly fitting in, really. But yeah, she's an exciting talent, that's for sure.
All right, thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Jacob. Any other questions? All right, thanks, everyone.
Sweet,
Thanks, Laura.
thank you.